can you share why we should go to Money in You? And Money in You is, okay, so there's only, I would say, four life-changing programs I can recommend. And one of them is Money in You. And Money in You is my very first transformational program. So Money in You is a personal development program, a business program, a money program, but ultimately for me, it's a transformational program. It's a program that has changed my life, the trajectory of the direction of my life, and it will never go back to the same. And that's basically transformation, right? So transformation is when your life totally changed. And that's Money in You. And it's my first one. That's why it's also the most significant one for me. And I know from people, from my friends in Money in You and people who have attended Money in You as well, that each and every one of us kind of like had a very, how to say, different transformation. So I can only speak about my own experience in Money in You. So to me, I went into Money in You coming out from a failed business, and I was, restarting my life, and I was like, paying off debts. I had a lot of anger issue. I was depressed. I told you I wanted to, I was at that point of suicide, right? And Money in You came at a point where all of that was happening inside me, but a lot of it was the money conversations, because I failed in business and I was in huge debt that I was paying off, that caused a lot of problems even in my other areas of life, so in my relationships, etc. But the root cause of it was money. And so in Money in You, I got the concept of abundance, and it's like opening up my head into this new reality that there's so much out there. There's so much possibility, so much opportunity, so much wealth, so much knowledge, so much experience, things to experience. And that kind of abundance was like mind-blowing to me. And for someone who wants to stop living, seeing all of that is like, I felt like, oh my God, I'm gonna miss out on a lot of these things if I stop living right now. And it totally kind of like changed my mind, and it made me really live my life. And I spoke about one of my key learnings is that to design my life, right? So most people spend their lives earning a living rather than creating or designing their lives. And so then from there, when I changed the trajectory or the direction of my life, then I started creating my life, designing my life, living my life the way I want it. And that's totally a huge shift. And that's only kind of like one, right? So I still learned a lot from Money in You, but that's kind of like one of the biggest things for me, where I will always be forever thankful and grateful for that program. So with that, right? With that, if you have something, even one thing that you want to change in your life, then definitely Money in You is a program that can create that transformation. So definitely, I highly recommend, if you are considering attending Money in You, go for it. Attend it. It's a totally worth it investment. So for yourself, right? So Hiyah, thank you for asking that question. When starting a business, how to find the first teammates? Okay, so when we are talking about teammates, let me just quickly clarify this. When we are talking about teammates, we are we talking about business partners, or are we talking about people who will be working for you? So never mind, I will answer both so that it's So the how to find the first teammate, and if we are talking about business partners, I wouldn't say I'm an expert at this, but I've been through several business partnerships, and not all of them, went well in that sense. So I do have experience when it comes to business partnerships, and I would love to share them with you. So far I've had, I think, 4 business partnerships, and so the first one is I left because I felt it was a bit unfair, and there's about 6 of us, and only half was putting in, like, a lot of the work, and so I thought it was a bit unfair. I won't go into the details because it will be unfair for the other parties, but for me it felt like it was a bit unfair, and that's why I chose to actually leave the group, that partnership. So that's the first one. And then, by the way, I'm gonna share later on, like, the lessons that I've learned when it comes to choosing the teammates, right? Second is, I think, in that business partnership, I worked so much, like I worked so hard to make it work. And that partnership, basically, I changed my leadership style. I changed how I interacted with my business partners. I changed how much, command I had. So there were times that I told my business partner, okay, why not you make the decisions? Why not you lead the team? Like, in making the decisions for the company, and then I will step back, and then let's see how that goes. And then there were times that I was like more demanding, and then so I did a lot of variations in terms of my leadership style to really make it work. But at the end of that partnership, it still didn't. So I basically asked them to make them choose whether they want to stay or leave. And so in the end, they left. So that's the second. Then the third one was actually pretty good. It was going pretty well, and it was just at some point, we were working together for a couple of years. At some point, our goals have changed, and so I decided that, oh, okay, it's not aligned anymore, and so I left. And then the fourth one is now pretty good. So the fourth one is my business partnership right now, which is going very well. So I have other coaches who are my business partners, and they know this because I've been telling this to them as well, that so far my experience of this partnership has been really, really good, and I'm really loving it, and it is really working for us. So that's kind of like my experience. So now the lesson, right? So to answer that question, how to find your first teammates as business partners, I think for me is really what I learned is that first you really need to understand your own values first. Like, when I talk about values, I'm talking about what's really important for you, for the business. What makes it important? What do you want to achieve? So when you are clear with whatever your values are, whoever you want to bring in as a teammate or as a business partner, is then you align with them and check with them what are their values. Because this is one of the biggest thing that we did in this new partnership that we have, was to really check what are our individual values, and we actually aligned those values and see how we're gonna work with them, because everyone has different values, but there will be values that will be similar. And so for us, it was helping people, having fun while doing business. So this few values actually align, and so that's why we are working together very well. And it's not only like being aware of it, and it's really aligning it together so that you can work very well. So that's what I learned. And then when it comes to, say, people who will be working for you, this kind of teammates, I also had a bit of experience when it comes to hiring people and like working for me. I think this one is really, in a way, challenging, because if we only hire when it comes to skills, there's a lot of people who have skills. Like there's a lot of people who are very knowledgeable, and most would be graduating, similarly holding the same diploma, or maybe masteral degree. But I think what I learned through my journey is that when we want to hire people, I think it's best to look for character. It's best to look for their grit, their determination, their openness to learning. So all of this soft skills is really, I think, the X factor that if you want to hire those kind of people. The only question is, which is always asked to me by my clients, is that, okay, how do I get to know that? Because I haven't hired them. And of course, there are more advanced HR tactics or techniques to be able to get all of this, by answering specific questions, all this. And if you don't have access to this kind of things, what I can suggest is to go through a trial period with a potential employee and check them out. Like, how do they perform? And then from there, you can assess if they have the character, if they have the heart that you are looking for. And then from there, you can make your decision, right? So that is basically how to find your first teammates when it comes to hiring people, right? Good. So I hope I've answered that question.
Oh, hey there. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. And remember to click the bell button so you get updated of the new videos. See you in the next one.